Alrighty, folks, welcome in. Thank you for your patience. Just casually check in, make sure the Zoom's not going to crash on us 17 times, like if you were there in Good Morning Nasdaq this morning. So far, it hasn't crashed, so I think we're good to go. So thanks for tuning in. Make sure to always like and subscribe. Just me and Dom holding it down. Huddie is off traveling. He's packing. He's getting ready to head to the airport and take a red eye to, I don't know, somewhere in Asia. So
Is there any flight that wouldn't be a red eye when it's 17 hours long?
I think even if you left it like in the morning, you are by the time change and distance, like it's just a red eye no matter how you slice it. Um,
I could not
which
do that. Like,
yeah, of all the places I've traveled and or want to travel to, I've oddly, and this is no offense to the eastern part of the world in terms of Asia. I haven't had the desire. I know eventually I will. Like I'm not gonna just like I know I'm not gonna die being like I've never been to Tokyo or I've never been to I don't know, South Korea. But like I just as at this current moment I have had zero desire, and maybe that's why because the flights are just so long.
I have absolutely
But
zero desire. I would like to eat the food if you could teleport me, but for a flight that long, I would need to be there for a month to forget about the first flight by the time my second one happens.
yeah, yeah. And I'm gonna start the stream off with this comment from Jim. He goes, "Huddy must be single." Another great point. Yes,
Yeah,
he is. He
yep.
has the most flexibility of all of us. Even though I will say, me and my wife have very flexible work schedules, so we do travel a lot. But yeah, that is a factor. If you're just you, you can pretty much go wherever you want when you want. Absolutely. So, anyways, welcome in. Feel free to throw in your questions, guys. Again, if you were here for the stream this morning, it was a very uneventful stream. Just the market is we are in dire. I don't say dire, but we're in a drought. And after having a drawdown for the last 3 months, arguably for a lot of traders, it then goes from drawdown to absolutely nothing, which again is better than drawdown because you could stay break even. But what a way to go in terms of just capitulation over time. Just watching your I don't know if you can call it your emotional energy or your stamina, your patience. It's getting to me, and I know it's getting to many other people. But what's helped this week for me is actually taking time off, like literally not showing up for hours during the day. I showed up a couple times today, but I did mention in Clover, I was like after the first hour, I was like I'm out. Did other things, did make it feel better, but yeah, nothing too sunshine and rainbows out there in the overall markets. Pretty much everywhere. Everywhere seems like a shit show for the most part. But anyway, so feel free to put in questions, comments, maybe share your experience in this market because I know not everyone's doing poorly. Some people are doing well, which is great. But
I had my best day of the year so far.
nice. How many are though?
$0.
So every day's been red, but today you can't say it's not the
I think I had
best.
like a $91 day, one of
Yeah,
the days.
can't say it's not the best. All right, nice.
Still looking for that winner.
Yeah,
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
yeah.
When you look at me, am I glitching? Like, I feel like I keep seeing my face and everything glitch.
I'll have to keep an eye on it here closely. I haven't been looking too closely. I've been looking at the chat.
I don't know why that would be, but
But
all right. It was nice to have a no trade day, I'll be honest with you.
yeah, it's refreshing, right? It's not the best feeling in the world, but it's better than losing every day. That is for sure.
Yeah, knowing that you didn't lose anything was awesome.
Drummer Max says, "How's our month going?" I'm red. Well, we are only 4 days in, 3 days in actually of trading days. I am like, I'll say break even. Yeah, I'm like up a grand, which
Nice.
in terms of R is nothing, point one R, roughly. So, but yeah,
I've lost on the one trade I took or the two trades I took. So I'm gonna still say I'm break even. I'm down like an hour or two, but you got at some point a win's got to get factored in, and then we'll see for sure.
right. All I know is I'm in extreme. I don't say extreme defensive mode, but like all I know is the goal for February is to not repeat, like just to have a green month. And I know that's easier said than done, obviously, for many out there. But like after having a terrible December, November, December, January, it's like I think I've experienced enough pain to either just stop or trade something that's good, and if it only pops up one good thing in the entire month that'll leave me green, then like so be it. You know what I mean? Like I refuse to have another fairly large red month. So even if I'm slightly red, let's say I'm like only down an R, that's fine. But like to have another multi R losing month, I put my foot down. I refuse. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, sometimes that's a good place to be. It bottoms you out. It like gets you through the end of whatever bad cycle we're in that's causing a lot more losses. Because there's just so much of getting your face kicked in that you can take
Yeah.
before you're like, "Well, I don't care about any systems or anything. I'm just gonna not click buttons until it feels better." Um, that's been the hardest part for me, and I know with you too, is just like there's opportunities, and when there's opportunities, I feel like more, and if I just blatantly don't take them, even though they're losing more often than they normally do.
Hmm.
But I've cut down on like I haven't taken a first Green Day reversal in a week or two. Focusing mostly on breakouts and gap and crappers. Um, but I keep telling myself, we've been here before. At some point, it does turn around. You get your little streak, and do I really want to draw down infinitely going into? And so I talk about all the time when it comes to like you're going to go through ups and downs in your career, no matter, unless you're like the world's best trader of all time. You're going to have red months, you're going to have big losses, you're going to have stretches where you struggle, and you need to learn how to manage those situations. Um, I feel like this has been a long time. I was green in November and December, but like not by a lot. So January was kind of annoying for me, but it always turns around. And do I want to be making back losses during the time when I finally get a few trades to work or the market turns back around? And do I want to be going to that tentatively just making back, the 10R that I'm down, or do I want to make new highs and like actually make money and start building on my year? You do have control over that. I know we talk a lot about just sticking with your system as long as you mentally can and emotionally can, but there definitely is nothing wrong with just taking your foot off the gas and saying, if it's not perfect, I'm not going to trade it. And that's a great lesson for any market. Usually it's a great time to get better at trading is when the market's slow, because if you can learn how to get your discipline in check, your patience in check, your ability to sit here all day and really just wait for a high quality situation, that's going to benefit you even when the market's a lot better. If you can pick and choose and not just get gambly out there clicking a lot of extra buttons. So we'll see what February has in store. It just doesn't feel like anything different. The market's choppy as crap near the highs, but any day it feels like a 10% red day's coming. Um, we're not getting any gappers right now. We have some one-off runner. I don't know what the heck LIMN is, but I won't be going near that with a 10-foot pole. It looked like it was traded normal, and then someone like turned on something, and all of a sudden it was just up a dollar down to the lows. It's like trading at 100% range from low
Yeah.
day to high day, and several times round trip both ways. Um, that's what we have right now. So
As you're talking, I do see your camera like lasts for like a fraction of a second, but it's I don't know what it is. It's probably
I
just
don't know what that is.
yeah, but yeah, this is the time to kind of hit off what you said there. This is the time to get good, right? Because if you can survive this market, then it's arguably only up from here in some ways, right? And this is kind of the best time to learn. Like the biggest mistake that I've seen in myself, I've seen in other traders, or I've seen in traders who just when they first start learning from the very beginning, like starting your journey or career or new setup, starting it off with a banger or starting it off with feeling like you can't lose or that it's too easy, is a recipe to like. I wish there was a study of traders who started, and then let's just say not even starting a setup, let's just say starting their career. And starting their career, and in the first 6 months, they triple their account. something impressive. Like they just clearly they've gotten lucky, right? They don't actually have edge. They've just gotten lucky, or they think they have edge, and they've crushed it. Versus traders who start and learn very quickly how rough trading can get and lose half their account, blow up their first account. Let's say they just lose 90% of their money. The 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 rate of the traders who quit, though, I would say is even higher among traders who have found success and then hit a drawdown after versus hit a drawdown and then recover it, right? Because hitting it, if your baseline introduction to trading is like, look how easy this is, I just tripled my account in 6 months, and then you actually face the reality of what trading can do and will do to you if you trade long enough, like that is when people quit because they're like, oh my gosh, it's going from like, if you start, if there's like a graph here, right, and you start at baseline, everyone starts at baseline, but the traders who do lose their money first go down here. It's only up emotionally, right? It's only, you're sure it can go down more in terms of account value, but in terms of the emotional pain of losing over and over and over again, after you take 20 losses in a row and have lost half your account, like you really can't go much lower. Yes, money-wise you can, but you felt, the majority of pain that you could get in terms of emotional loss, or just exhaustion, or mental capital, right? But if you start a trader that triples their account first and you go up here, you have all this emotional capacity to lose, an emotional willingness to like not blow up, not financially blow up, but emotionally blow up. And so I've seen it many times where traders do really well to start, get a dose of reality, and then they quit. Versus traders that have a rough start, realize how bad it is to start, don't quit, and then it's up from there. So if you're starting right now and it's tough, good. Like that is such a better start than like people who started in COVID, and just tripled their account in a month because everything went up, and then 2022 came around and they probably quit because they were like, wait, this is actually hard, and then they stopped. So
Yeah, I got a couple thoughts on that. One is just like it's so important that you're learning the right lessons at the right times in your career because in that scenario that Kyle's talking about, like it is not a matter of like if, it's a matter of when you're going to take a big loss, when you're going to get stuck in a bad situation. And is that going to be when the stakes are 100, $200 or when they're 100, 200,000? And there was definitely mistakes that I never had seen because it's just my experience I wasn't in the game long enough, but my size had jumped so quickly because of the couple years of success where you make a boneheaded mistake and you're like, the stakes were way too high for that type of stupid mistake. And that's the kind of stuff that people they blow up on. The dumbest little things that you could have learned at the beginning that sometimes you're maybe not. And sometimes what Kyle's saying is just bad luck. Like it feels good in the moment, you're making money, you're doing well, but you're not really doing anything. It's just like you're riding the wave and the wave's taking you there, but you think you're like kicking your legs, so you think you're the reason you're propelling forward. Um, but on a secondary note, it's like the real drawdowns, I feel like after success are the most painful, and everyone's a little bit different. But I remember the first 10 months of like trying to figure out trading. Like I really wanted to succeed and I really don't like failing, but we've all failed at things. And if you've never had success, there's no pressure, right? Everyone expects you to fail. You tell them you're trying to be a trader, they laugh at you, and you know all that, and you want to prove them wrong. But at the end of the day, if you failed, maybe one bad Thanksgiving of people joking about it, and then it's over. Like it's not that big of a deal. You go and you make a bunch of money, and then you go like for me, 2019, where another 10 months of unprofitability, and because his OTCs died, and I had to learn the game all over again in listed land. And I remember that like tearing me apart mentally because you had a taste of it, you know what it's like, and then boom, back to like the stakes are way higher now than I'm 3, 4 years in. I'm a
right.
trader now, but I don't make any money, and like that's why I think that failure rate you're talking about is so real because it's like the stakes once the stakes get higher and you've had some success, the drawdowns suck. Like I'm sure you probably aren't this type of guy, but you probably have a little imposter syndrome right now, coming on every day talking after a couple red months, big red months. Maybe a little for you, and I feel like I feel that way more than you would, but like it just kind of like once you've had the level of success, there's people that want you to fail. Um, and then also it's just like, we're better than this, but it's like we make mistakes and we go through tough times, and part of the game.
Yeah. What really stood out to me there, though, was like you said, there's just more stakes to lose. And so that's kind of why, when I look back on my first year of trading and how difficult it was and how emotionally battling it was, but then to get out of that and then be profitable, and then, 10 years later be here. Sure, I talked about this on my, I think, Clover's most recent video where I talk about the drawdown I had, but it's like I had maybe 2 or 3 10-second thoughts of quitting, and the thoughts went along like this of like, oh my gosh, I'm down 50% of my account. This sucks. I'm not having fun. I want to quit. And then it's immediately brought with backup like, well, no, you actually love what you're doing. You're just not as good as you need to be yet. Let's keep going and keep studying. Like that's literally how quick it went. But like you said, when the stakes are higher, which is 10 years later, $7 to $8 million later, it's like, wait a minute. How, where's the stop? Because it's like, am I really willing to give back all $8 million? And again, I don't even have $8 million, right? There's taxes involved. So let's say on a perfect scale, I've paid 40 to 50%. Am I really willing to give back $4 to $5 million in the pursuit of trying to make this happen? It's like, it's like I could live a long time. I don't necessarily think I could retire. I'm a little too young, but like I could live a long time off of that. You know what I mean? So like the stakes are higher. It's like, wait a minute. And so like this recent drawdown, I've thought about quitting way more. Again, the same thing comes about though of like, no, I'm going to keep going. Like, why would there's no way I'm going to stop. But again, those thoughts of like, but I have way more to lose now absolutely comes into play. And so I have to, it's just another mental battle. So even if you, back to my analogy with the charts, like even if you did do the down and then the up, the moment it comes down again and after so much up, it's like, oh crap. I'm right there with you. I'm in that trench. So just the reality of things. But
I think it's a humbling every drawdown or even multi-month period where it's just kind of harder and you have to work. So like, I think people think, and I don't know if Nate does a crazy amount of work behind the scenes of studying and stuff, but like, I feel like every year, like on something, whether it's a new pattern, whether it's figuring out your old patterns or adjusting to the current market, there's just so much time and effort that is like baseline that is required to be profitable. And it's never just like life on easy street. Um, Especially during like the big changes where the market just shifts and the patterns change a little and there's not as many good opportunities and you have to be more particular. Like it's just draining when you're the later in you get in your career. I know we're young, but like of like and I think I know what your thoughts are. Like, do I really want to do this? Like, I have to grind so hard, and like I just
just to
when
lose
does it get
money.
easier? When does the road start to tilt down? And because like it just is always so tough, and that's why I think we love it so much because I don't think it'd be fun if it was always and forever like 2020 market. Um, Maybe it would be. We'd find something to be happy about. We'd be happy,
Well,
but
that's an exact, like that exact phrasing you said, which is like, do I really want to keep doing this? Like that exact, and I think to myself, well, yes, but then not if it's like this. Like if I have to experience the last 3 months at least once a year, I probably wouldn't, guys. Gotta be honest with you. You know what I mean? Like if it's a
like
once
I
a
want to go to culinary school. Like that's just
yeah.
calling my name. Like
Like if 25% of my year every year consists of the last 3 months, like I promise you, I would probably try to make as much money as I possibly can in the next hot market, and then I would stop because it's like it just weighs on you. In fact, Lance had a really good tweet about this a day or two ago, which is like the whole concept of giving up your health for wealth. And it's like obviously in the short term, day to day, it's easy to look over like getting less sleep or managing stress or just dealing with more stress in the markets. But like again, doing it for 10, 15, 20, 25 years, it can really start to catch up, and you make yourself consider of like, do I really? And again, Lance is like practically not stopped trading entirely, but he's taken a big seat back because he's just like, I've done the thing. Like he's like, I've made the life changing money. What more? How much more of my health and my stress levels and my just my my literal life do I need to risk for what else? What else is he going for? You want to go for $1 billion? Like why? You know what I mean? The risk reward emotionally and health wise just doesn't make any sense. So we'll
I
see.
mean, there's definitely ways to over time to I think we're a lot closer to it than I think other traders are, because we have Clover and because we're here every day. I have to be here every day at 8:45 a.m. We got webinars, we have video lessons to do, and so it's like we have to stay plugged in. Um, and I feel like that you could definitely simplify it, right? To like the strategies you trade, you could just show up for when the swing trading stuff is all aligned and it's time to take those trades and sit on them. You know, I probably should. Every time I start to act like I'm a retired trader, I trade a lot better, by taking less trades, waiting for the best of the best opportunities. Those situations where I can risk one and make 15, like those aren't there every day. But I think when you're in the weeds, especially in the beginning, that's why it's kind of tough to get yourself to train that muscle to stop jumping into everything that looks okay and realize there are just some opportunities that are better and others that aren't worth it over the long run once you have a big database of trades. But I was talking to Heidi this morning that we didn't click any buttons today. Just going through breakouts and like, are these ones even worth it? Is this level of volume worth it? Like, what's the overall philosophy be like? And you simplify over time, but you don't know that until you have enough experience with it. But we are complaining a bit, and there's definitely a way to lighten our load and do less
Hmm.
as long as certain patterns work, like vis-a-vis breakouts. Um, but we are just super plugged in, so we kind of feel like you sit here all day and there's nothing to trade. Like whether you know it or not, that affects you. That makes you bored. That makes you anxious. That makes you excited. Um, and so there definitely was simplified over time, but we are just still pretty much plugged in. I got a couple good years left in me.
There you go. Yeah. Alrighty, to some questions here. That was a good little side chat there. Yeah, Trading Scratch says Margaret's terrible using it to deep dive into Clover videos. I'm in the middle of 23, or probably 2023 boot camp. Nice. That is another great great use of your time, which is studying for sure. That's probably the if you're that's better than being break even. It's either losing, break even, studying, and break even. And I guess studying and making money would be would be the best. But I hope you get what I'm saying. Hey, gents, how do you approach after hours versus pre-market gappers? How do we? We don't particularly like. We're not big pre-market or after hours traders. I think as a general theme, myself, Huddy, and Dom, we like to position ourselves for gap ups. So like we might position ourselves late day for something to gap up overnight and after hours, or gap down per se. But I'm rarely putting on full positions or even taking full on trades in and out in after hours or pre-market. My life, I like to show up fairly compared to others fairly late to pre-market. I'm only really there an hour before market open at the earliest, and I typically like to stop
Yeah, right.
watching. What's up?
Yeah, right. You're there like 20 minutes before.
Yeah, I mean I wake up an hour before. I don't get there before an hour before. So yeah, sorry, we're not the guys to ask. Not much pre-market and after hour strategies here. They're not much, not at all really. Eric says lost 1/3 of my account, bag holding 2 trades first year, focusing on news, holding and hoping. I mean, yeah, that'll do it. Holding and hoping is definitely not a strategy, but everyone learns it at some point. Only had 2 green months in my first year, losing 80% of my account. Only consistently profitable. I mean, yeah, I lost for what? Yeah, 7 or 8 months in a row.
I lost 100% of a couple accounts.
Yeah, that's typically the writing of passage there, or the rite of passage. I've heard some other traders say or to invest in real estate or buy other businesses. Do you guys do any of that? I like investing in other things, but I'm not necessarily like a savant of other investments. I don't have like a 20 other things I'm invested in or do, in terms of other businesses. And that's the one thing where people will, I've gotten maybe comments over the time or from people, not very frequently, right? But enough to maybe notice a pattern of some people who see me as a trader also think I'm an entrepreneur, because it's like I do work for myself. I am my own boss. But I quickly, if everyone ever says that to me, I quickly reassure them. Like, that's incorrect. Like, when I think entrepreneur, maybe my definition is incorrect, but like entrepreneur is someone who genuinely likes to start and just, whether successful or unsuccessful, do business. That's not me. Not me. I don't like having employees. I don't like doing all these, like, I like trading. That is trading and investing. Managing my own money is like my true deep passion. So like getting into other things and running other businesses, it just, call me boring, call me non-entrepreneurial. I just, that is just not a strong suit of mine. I have no interest in doing that. Like if I had a cool business idea, I'd be like, great, that's all it's going to be. It's like I just don't want to go any further. I don't know if you feel differently, Dom, but that's just me being lame. But it's just the truth.
I feel like people say like invest in real estate or start a, or buy a business, but like I feel like it's got to be way harder, way easier said than done. Like when you just say that. Do you remember when I almost bought that car wash?
Mm-hmm.
Um, it didn't end up working out, but I couldn't imagine if I had to deal with that on a weekly basis at this point. But I don't know anything about. I think yeah, they act like anyone who's ever made money just knows like about real estate. I don't know anything about it. Like, it- how do you really invest in real estate? I'm just asking now. I don't know. Like, you buy places, buy corporate buildings, you
Yeah. I
do
mean,
something in
you
that.
make a good point though. Just because we've made money doesn't make us more educated in any
We
other
look at
area.
green and red lines on a chart. Like, I did this job so I don't have to talk to other humans. Like that was the main kicker for me. I was like, you get to work from home. This was back way before working from home was like a normal thing. And I was like, you get to sit in your basement. You don't have to talk to any people. That's what I hated the most about like interviewing and like the real world and getting a job. It's like I just hated dealing with other people. And so I don't think my dream is to like make a living and then my reward is to go deal with other people. Um, so I don't own any businesses. Well, we do Clover, but um, I don't really have any fancy real estate.
Yeah. It's funny too because my wife my wife will sometimes tell me like, oh, it'd be cool to run an Airbnb and it'd be cool to,
No.
do all these things. And I get it. Like I get the appeal. Like I see it. I see people making money from it. It sounds awesome. I just know that if I get a call from my tenant at 2 a.m. in the morning that his toilet's broken, I'm gonna shoot somebody, probably myself. And now people are gonna be like, oh, get a rent or get a property manager. Yada, yada. It's like, yeah, even I don't want to deal with that. I just don't. I do not want even to step foot in that direction. All for what? Just to pay off my mortgage and get 500 extra bucks a month? Like, there's so many other options out there that I could throw my money at to get 500 extra, more than 500 bucks a month. You know what I mean?
Pepe.
Pepe coin. No, just kidding. some degen crypto coin. No, but yeah, it's just you gotta do what you like. You gotta know what you're good at or know about enough about to tolerate. And
Also,
that's out
if
of real
you had
estate. It's
asked
not for
when
me.
Huddy was here, Huddy probably does all those things.
Huddy does own Airbnb, so he maybe would have a better perspective on it. But yeah, just not for me. It's not my thing. Let's see. I lost my thought on the. Okay, here we go. Started by tripling my account and then ended up giving it all back. Only in the past 2 years have I been trading actual setups and trying to refine entries, exits, setups, patterns, long journey. Nice. Well, it's good to hear you're still here, right? Because I think in the odds, if it's 90% people fail, I think people who succeed first and then fail, it's probably like 95 plus. So it's good to hear you're still here and actually getting a groove of things. But yeah, it's a tough
It
one.
is a long journey. I find it funny. Like me, Kyle, and Huddy talk a lot, and there's other traders we talk to that are in the game. Some people you know, some people you don't. And it's just like how many things we're still learning. We're still growing. We're still picking up on things that even on patterns we've traded forever, looking at it from different angles, taking things from other successful traders out there. Um, it is a long journey. You got to learn to love that journey. To not look, you can't really look at it like what Kyle said. One part was like, wait for the next hot market and then quit. You'll never get there if you try doing that from the beginning. But you kind of just, what do they always say? Like, be curious, and I think it is be curious, but. It's like the stuff we do is so simple, but there is so much complexity to it that is constantly changing. Like the little nuances are always, we always say situational, right? And learning those situations, you have to see it happen hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times. And so it's nice to see it. You're on the right journey there, the right
Yeah.
path.
Yeah. Trading scratches. So at 39 years old, I should just give up now? Question mark. No. I have a feeling they're referring to Lance's tweet of like maybe health and how long you've been doing it for, or because you get old, naturally get unhealthier just from age. No, I think he actually mentioned at the end of his tweet, it's like, so what's the right answer? Like, how much do you give it? It's up to you. It's different for everybody. I know traders who started trading way later in life and are happy they did it. You know what I mean? That's the one aspect that people maybe are biased toward, which is like there's this sense of like I want to have it happen now. So it's like if they don't make a million in the first year or two, they don't think it's worth it. But it's like step out of that get rich quick thought for a second and just think about it. Would it be worth making a million by age? If let's say we're all 20 years old here, right? Or 30 years old, whatever it may be. Wouldn't it be worth still making a million over 5 years, 10 years, making 10 million over 50 years, right? It doesn't sound as flashy and nice, but it's like that's a career, right? That's a life that you could probably live on your own terms. Again, does it come with the stresses and the ups and downs of trading? Of course. But, if you're 39 and thinking it's worth giving up, I mean, that's up to you. I would say no. You've got based on the average age of a living person on this earth, you've got another 40 years in you. What are you going to do
You also
with your
got a
time?
good 10 to 20 year window of trading. So if you start at 40, it's 40 to 60. If you start at 20, it's 20. It's not about the age of you, it's about how much trading is going to take from your brain.
Yeah.
And if you're just starting at 39, you're good. You got a while.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the traders who are maybe they're starting at 80 years old, which again, more power to you, but at the same time, you gotta really like it because who knows, I don't know, maybe eventually we live forever and then you can start anything at any age. But yeah.
You're 30, right?
I will be 30 in 6 days.
Oh, you're not 30. I was just thinking how old I feel now being 30. Like, I don't know, that was the first time I've ever seen like 39 typed out as an age, and my brain was like, that's plenty young. Like, I'm to the point now where it's like, short of 40, you're still young. Um, it was actually my first thought was still 39, young lad.
Mm-hmm.
But when I'm 39, my kid's gonna be, oh my gosh.
You applied to
Like,
yourself, you're like, wait, I'm gonna feel old. Oh. It's so funny you mentioned that though, Dom, because again, I don't have kids yet, but I had a very random daydream a day or two ago that if I had a kid in the next, say, year or two, they're going to look at me and be like, you were born before 2000? You're old.
it's all right. The kids are already doing that.
Oh, I'm like, wait, you're right.
They act like if you were born before 2000, you're like a dinosaur.
Yeah. It's like a meme. It's pretty funny. Oh. So, okay, hey Kyle, would you say this recent drawdown was due mostly to swing trading, question mark? Let's say you never picked up swing trading and only traded original patterns. Do you think you'd be up? That's a great question, but that is an exact component of why, or one of many components why this drawdown has been so tough, because the answer to that question is no. I would still be red without swing trading. In fact, the only strategy I was green on in January was swing trading. Everything else I lost money on. So now, yes, of the entire drawdown since the end of November, early November, or end of October, early November. Yeah, if I had to do rough math, let me try to get some better numbers here. Yeah, 40 to 50. No, I would say like 40% of my drawdown has been from swing trading. So I would be drawing down less, but we've got another 50 to 60% of losses that are not coming from swing trading. That's what makes it so tough, is that like everywhere I'm struggling. There's not a single setup that I have that's been like, yep, if I just stuck to that one, I'd be crushing it. It isn't the case, unfortunately. So no, yeah. And actually to start the year, like I said, in January, I'm actually very I'm not thrilled, but I feel pretty good about my swing trading so far because that's the only strategy I'm green on. And right now I'm all cash and the market looks like crap. So I'm dodging a ton and avoiding a ton of losers because of it. So I'm actually happy about it. Now I will say though, the only reason why I'm green on swing trading is because I caught SNDK. If I didn't catch SNDK, yes, I'd be red on swing trading. So it's really just catching one big winner, but that's also the theme of swing trading, right? Like one winner should make up for dozens of losers. And so, ergo, I have probably a dozen or so losers, but again, one big winner is gonna make back all those losses and then some. So, yeah, hopefully answers your question. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Holding and hoping isn't a strategy; it's MicroStrategy. Damn, shots fired at Michael Saylor. Yeah, entrepreneur is what they bros put on their Tinder profile to sound cool. Yeah, I get that. I've seen that before. But I will say though, like a true like someone like people online who I see are true entrepreneurs who've got so much going, like an Elon Musk, right? Not to that scale, right? But like true entrepreneurs do make entrepreneurship look easy, right? They'll have some kind of business like, oh yeah, it runs on its own. It's like, yeah, because they probably hired good people or have good processes in place. So like, I'm not saying it's the hardest thing in the world, though I don't want to do it. It's just I just do think though, if you are an entrepreneur of a business, you either have to be really passionate about just having business, like being a businessman and running like the numbers or having a profit and turning revenue, and you have to really love the aspect of business, or you really have to love the business you're in. Like you have to have some kind of love for it because it can be so difficult and tough and challenging that like you're going to be met with moments that if you don't have that, you're just going to quit. You know, and I know that myself. Like if you tell me like, oh, I have to be a real estate businessman, the moment I get a call from a tenant, I'm going to quit. I just don't have it in me. I just don't have that passion or that motivation. So
It's just like we're technically entrepreneurs, I think, but it couldn't be any more. Like you have to go out into the world, like you want to be a real estate agent or start your own firm, or you have to go out into the world and make the mistakes like in person and like on bigger stages. Like all you have to do, like we're just playing a game that exists somewhere that isn't probably normally played the way we play it, and you just sit at home and study. Like you can't, there's not enough you can do studying wise to go start a new gym downtown. Like I have to get out there, I got to get investments, I got to get employees, I have to market. I have like we don't do that. Like we just sit here and study and study and study. And I think that's the difference. Like we're not really entrepreneurs. We just play a game. Like we're managing our trading. Like in from that perspective, I could probably look at a business's numbers and stuff and figure that stuff out. But it's a completely different like skill set, I feel like.
yeah. Let's see. Trading stress. I started investing in real estate, and now I'm using that income or that money to day trade. Am I doing it backwards? No. There's no right or wrong. I know plenty of
that makes way more sense to me.
Yeah, I know plenty of really good previous business owners that started their businesses doing whatever. In fact, I can think of like 3 or 4 guys off the top of my head that had some kind of really successful business prior, then got into day trading for the passion and the craft of it, and have been just as successful there. So it's not like you have to do day trading for the other. In fact, I would say like Dom said, like I think from a risk management across financial well-being, you probably are better off because you probably have passive income that you don't need to trade, I would guess, or I would assume. Whereas if trading is your only income, there's a lot more risk in that. And again, back to the conversation of us, like how long do we want to do this for, or how long do we want to do that, trade for, or how serious or pushing trading from a health perspective we want. Like I've made it a pretty big effort the last year or two to those investments, so not businesses, but investments, to invest in other things that do eventually create kind of some kind of cash flow, so that by let's say 2028, let's say, I don't know, I don't just give it a couple of years of a goal because it can't happen all in 1 year, but like having enough money in my trading accounts and outside of trading accounts that then I could stop trading and then be good for practically life. Like the passive income is just setting me up without hindering not having a trading account. So it's like I can trade if I want, but I don't have to. That's like the perfect realm where it's like you just make the passive income and that pays for everything in my life. And then trading is truly becomes a extracurricular event. I think that's the sweet spot. So if you already have that with the real estate, then you're in a great position. But again, I don't actually know. You don't have to share either, but that's where my head goes. Would you agree, Dom? Is that what you were mentioning when you were kind of saying that?
I think it makes way more sense to like I think that person was 40-ish, 40, 50 year
Yeah,
olds.
39.
Like it makes more sense to do a job, work your way up, be a real estate agent, be a salesman, whatever, build a nest egg and then retire early or whatever, or start trading on the side. Because of what I just said, trading is just studying and you can do it for 4 hours at night. It's hard to build a business for 4 hours at night unless it's like an e-commerce thing. So like it makes much more sense for like a natural progression than for us. Like we love our job as traders. That's the passion. So we don't want to build this up so we can then go do real estate. Like that's it's the reverse. So like we're already doing what we love. We just got lucky we found it first. Most people don't like the original job they have, and so transition to trading makes more sense.
All right.
'Cause we have dream jobs. Don't you? Are you having so much fun these last few months?
Oh, it's the dream. It's the nightmare.
Sometimes I like am like there are moments and I'm like I'm telling people like with a smile on my face, I love my job. I have so much fun. I love working my own out. And then I'm sometimes like, this is so stupid that I can lose money at my job. Every single like they're taking I'm working all day every day
My
and they're taking money from me.
I can get negative pay per hour. I'm gonna owe money after working 40 hours
It's
for
so
2 days a week.
stupid. And it's literally one or the other. It's nostalgia. I love what I do. Or it's like, this is the dumbest game ever. I signed up for this?
Yeah. It's like, what idiot would do that? Oh wait, it was me. Eric says, yeah, park some money in a commercial real estate syndicate, 100% passive with high returns. I mean, yeah, there's I don't mean to bash on real estate entirely. There are some options that are very passive, like triple net leases that I've briefly looked into, but it does take a lot of cash for those. But yeah, there's options. There's things out there. Or also, I know a buddy who invests in a fund that is hard money lending to real estate investors. So there's way to be in real estate without being in real estate. You know what I mean? Let's see. Why do I keep like the chat always just scrolls randomly? Oh. Michael makes a comment about Hood falling knife. Yeah, I've seen some talk about Hood. I own that long term, so I've definitely seen the price decline, but nothing to concern about in my opinion. It just really followed to crypto, and crypto's pulling back, so naturally Hood's gonna panic a little bit more as well. Yeah, do what Cool Magi does in a cold market, or when the market sucks. Yeah, just head on your yacht for a year. Yeah, he does it well.
I was just thinking of what you were just talking about. A long time ago, I invested in this thing called Fundrise.
Okay.
And I think that's what it was. It just pools people's money together, invests in real estate, and then pays you out on it.
Mm-hmm.
I did that for a while,
This was
but
years
I
ago.
didn't know what it was. So when it got big enough, I took it out and said, I think I won this app. And then I think that's what it was. Is that a syndicate? It was just like you were blindly putting money in,
Yeah, and someone else was
and then
managing it
they
for you.
did real estate with it.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
there's
I
there's
felt the whole time it wasn't real. So at some point,
it's like this is too passive where I don't think my money's actually doing anything because I've done nothing.
they would send me updates like new home in Dallas, new apartment complex in California. I'm like, no,
It's like,
stop.
no, that's not really built there. Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, that's funny. And Eric says started 2 years ago at the age of 61. I mean, again, if that works for you, that works for you. It's like if you made $1 million by the time you're 71, then you can live from 71 to 85 financially free. Like if that's worth it for you, then knock yourself out. You know what I mean? So it's different for everybody.
I think trading like out of retirement or in your 50s or 60s would be a super fun thing to do. But I also think those people need to just throw out everything that they know about the world and everything that because they've had like 30, 40 adult years of the economy, this and these life situations and what the stock market did during these times. And that stuff is so irrelevant to what we do. And it's hard to get through to some of those people that we're just looking for patterns. We're just looking for very little nuanced things. We're not trying to guess because you know that in 1998, gas prices did this because the president said this. Like, maybe there's a world for that type of trading, but if you're trying to learn from us, it's really not about predicting anything. And um, yeah, I think that that would be my advice to the older generation of traders. Become a little guinea pig, just a little baby,
Yeah.
and pick up the trading thing by one day at a time of sticking to the strategies.
Amen. Let's see. When's the swing trading class coming out? To your comment earlier, Dom, about imposter syndrome, I would argue that if I did have imposter syndrome, swing trading would be probably the most apparent place I would have it. Only because, well, one, I'm learning from someone else who has videos online, so it's like anyone can go watch that. And two, I haven't even been doing it a year yet. Like, yeah, sure, I've made money, but I haven't stood the test of time, you know. For all we know, back to that analogy with the beginner, it's like I could just be on the up, and I haven't had the down yet. I mean, obviously this drawdown has been the down, but I don't know if I feel imposterous making a course. Now, if you're in Clover, like we have plenty of webinars or video lessons where I talk about my swing trades or how to swing at a basic level. But and I'm open to doing more of that. But I don't know if a full on class is appropriate for me at the current moment, just given because there's just so much I don't know, so much I'm still learning, so many other traders that are just so much better than I'm learning from that all of you have access to, that's like practically free on X or YouTube. So it just doesn't seem like a thing for me to do at this current moment in time.
Give the people what they want. If all you have to do is preface it and say, these are the people I learned from. If you really want to hear it out of my mouth, this is what I have to say. This is what I do.
Here it is. Let's see. At what length of time or amount of trades would you feel comfortable saying someone has become profitable? So this is a very good question and topic, because the longer I've traded, and I think you feel this way too, Dom. I think we've talked about this probably a webinar or so ago, a long time ago, but we definitely have talked about it, where it's like this comment or question reminds me along the same lines of like, when do you feel like you've made it? When do you feel like you've done it? And let this recent environment show that there's really never feeling like that. Yes, there's moments or maybe there's periods where you feel really good about the success you've had or how well you're doing. But again, all that can be wiped away with just as long of a period or just as rough of a loss, where, and maybe this is a thought experiment. Let's say a trader's made $10 million over 15 years, right? And so by that statement alone, most people would be like, yep, okay, he's a consistently profitable trader. Over 15 years, he's made $10 million, and he's done it, not all in 1 year. He's just spaced it out, maybe $1 million a year or 50K or 500K a year, like whatever average he has been able to grind to that level. What happens when he screws up and loses everything in one trade? Does that mean he's still profitable? Like on year 16, he just loses it all. He loses everything,
I feel like I hate this question, but if my gut feeling is to say yes,
He's still profitable.
in my mind, I
Well,
don't think you can rig the game and get lucky that long. So I would say he got effed on the hardest part of the game, which is risk management.
mm-hmm.
And the thing is, are you not profitable, and does your entire resume go out the books because you made a mistake, or you made a month of mistakes,
Mm-hmm.
or you let your life get in the way and you were in a horrible, someone died and you got raged on the internet and just bought a bunch of stupid things or shorted. Like, it's you never, I mean, those I feel like are high level questions. I think most people are asking it when they've made 50K in the first year or something. But I don't know, would you say that person's not profitable? It's
So
almost like,
it's
do you have the skill? It's almost like you're on COD or something. And have you prestiged? Have you done enough to prove that you could do it again?
mhm.
Because I would give that person money to trade, even if they made that oopsie. I feel like.
Yeah, and that's where there really isn't a perfect. This can't be a black and white answer. I think it's somewhere in the middle. But this question, every time this question comes in, or that thought experiment comes to my head, I think of Jesse Livermore, because Jesse Livermore was arguably inflation adjusted, like today's world, the best trader to ever exist. Like individual research trader to, if he did it today, like same trajectory, same money, but inflation adjusted, like turned thousands of dollars into a billion plus. The only problem is that, quote me if I'm correct here, he's blown up, I think 2 to 3 times. And the last time he blew up, he killed himself. And when I mean blow up, he lost like 95% or almost everything, and then did have to get money from someone else that was alone to like so. And a lot of people, and not that, it's not to discredit Jesse Livermore. There's a lot of valuable lessons in trading. He knew his stuff. The problem is he didn't know the one last thing that matters, whether you like finish on top or not, which, like we said, risk management. You know, and so it's like I don't want to say he's not profitable, but I don't want to say he is either, because it's like it's like you got to, like, there's a marathon, right? And you got to the finish line. And the problem is, it's like the casino. The only way to cross the finish line is arguably to stop, you know, or have risk management enough to where, like, yeah, you could keep doing this forever. Like, you have such rigorous risk management, which is possible, to where that's crossing the finish line. That's been like you made it, or that you're consistently profitable. The problem is, it's like there's so many things you just don't know coming to you, or there's so many scenarios where, like, you could have the best risk management, but it's gonna slip up at moments. You know, or you have no risk management and you just hit a terrible streak and you lose 95% of your multi-million dollar, arguably billion-dollar inflation-adjusted, you know, epic run, historic run. So it's like, you know, so for me, I can't give a strong yes or no answer, but it's just I bring that thought up because it brings back to the question that they asked, which is, you know, when do you feel profitable? Or if I'm doing this long, is that, you know, it's like, I don't, the longer I've traded, the less I felt like that always. I'm just showing up every single day trying to make a buck, you know, like the last 10 years don't mean anything to me. Because the market doesn't care. That means nothing to the market. You know what I mean? So yeah.
I think that's one way to say there is no right answer.
Yeah. Which is
When you're in the midst of a drawdown, you wonder, is it all over? Is everything changing? Like, and when you're on the upswing, you know, things are good, but it is like the same as the casino. From one perspective, it is almost like you're not up or down until you walk out the doors, until you cash out your chips. And
Right.
it's like, which is why I think you see a lot more people who make tens of millions just quit and go, it ain't worth one more dollar risk, ain't worth another million or whatever, because the risk of losing everything or all of it or some of it, like, is too great to risk any dollars.
Right.
You almost like force yourself to quit on top. But it's a tough question. I don't think it's worth thinking about to take it home. Um, it's not a relevant question. You either make a living over 10, 20 years or you don't. And you know if you're consistently profitable, because you're trading for a living. And you've traded through multiple market cycles. You've gotten in yourself in and out of drawdowns. You know, if you're, you know, to all the people who made money in 2020 and 2021, like, have you ever had a profitable year since? Like, I'm not being mean. I'm just saying, like, there are telltale signs of certain, like, you know, milestones you have to reach, I feel like, along the way that are baseline. But from all the examples we just talked about, you're never in the clear, unfortunately.
Right.
Um,
Right. Like,
yeah.
I've heard stories of traders that, you know, spent the last 10, 20 years accumulating, let's say $20 million, $30 million, and they let one trade wipe all of it. Like, they literally kept 95% of their net worth in their trading account. And like that just couldn't be me. I couldn't live with myself knowing I achieved that level of wealth to just blow it all and keep it all in my accounts. And so I'm not saying there's a right percentage to take out, but like, you're damn right I wire out. You're damn right I want to invest and actively do invest in other things, because it just couldn't be me, you know, accumulating that much and keeping all of it in your trading account. For that worst fear that you give it all back, you know? So anyways,
all right, wait, it's 8:07,
yes.
so I have one question, but then someone else said they were going to
Two.
age themselves and they were at the pick game, which was 94, if I'm not mistaken. So a year before I was born. So they were trying to say that they're old, which was a game between Oregon and Washington, where we got a pick six, I believe it was, to close out the game. We hate Washington. Um, but Eric was at that game. And that was a year
Wow.
before I was born.
Cool.
But here's a question I want to just see your thoughts, because I didn't know this was a thing.
All
Have
right.
you guys ever give your stats in Excel sheets to Chat GPT and have it analyze you as a trader?
Um, have you, Dom?
I'm about to do it right now.
I
How do you
actually
do it? You just copy and paste? I only have free stuff. I don't have fancy.
I saw a video a week or two ago where that AI, was it Cloud? Claude, I think it is, where he, or not he, I can't call it, it sounds like a he, but the AI was linked up to someone's Excel, and he just told Claude, like the user was just like, Claude, make these cells all percentages and make this percent, intertwine with this sheet and make sure, and it just did it. And that hit me like a ton of bricks, where it's like, at some point I probably should dive into that and have AI be part of my Excel sheet. Now, I'm very, very beginner when it comes to AI. I have no strong expertise besides asking ChatGPT things, which is like using Google for toddlers, right? So I'd have to do some education on my end, but I do think I want to go down that rabbit hole eventually of maybe having AI be a little second, look over my shoulder on some of the things I track and watch for. So totally.
Let me just give you some. I just threw my year page.
Okay.
It just said, "This is a trend plus asymmetric payoff system, not a high hit rate system," and that's good if you lean into it. Our multiples are doing the heavy lifting. Uh, you're cutting losers cleanly. Winners are allowed to expand. That's textbook professional behavior.
The problem is
Longs are
before you go
greater
any
than short.
further, I feel like
Huh?
it's before you go any further, it's kind of telling us what we already know though, which kind of bugs me.
Yes.
It's like I guess I have too high expectations for AI that like it's going to tell me something I don't already know, and maybe it will, but
Your expectancy math works even at a sub 50% win rate, which means you do not need to trade more. You need to trade better selection.
yeah, we know all
Um,
this.
yeah. It's kind of interesting to see them tell me about it though. You are not a scalper. Don't try to be one. OTC absolutely dominates.
Is this ChatGPT?
Yeah.
Nice. There you have it. Cool.
I guess it kind of like puts it in real world, like they're talking to you, like trying to pump you up.
Yeah. I mean, it
Um,
is helpful hearing it from someone else. So like reading it out loud could hit differently than you just looking at it yourself.
it is. I mean, it says my no pattern strategy should be deleted immediately. No edge, pure discretion leak.
Deleted it immediately. Oh, that's funny.
I'll bet you I wonder if I just sit here pecking at questions about it, how much it'll pick up from it. But it
Yeah.
seems like it got it pretty quick off a spreadsheet.
Where it would get good is probably how much time you're willing to put into it, which is like if you're able to give it every trade you've ever given it and
Oh,
like
yeah.
context and details and like that's where it would be like a second brain beyond your own, and that's where things could get probably juicy. But
Well, like you said, it's stuff we already know. If you are filling out Kyle's spreadsheets and and I do a review every month, Kyle does his review. I really go into what I use the data for. And if you're not quite understanding what you should be doing with that in terms of, which patterns I should be trading, which ones I should be cutting out, where I should be moving risk up, which ones I should be dialing it back, like this is a decent, like, if you didn't understand that, like maybe sometimes the kick and the balls you needed to cut out a pattern or something. Where it's like, dude, look at your numbers on this. It sucks. Like,
I was an unprofitable trader till ChatGPT showed me the way, and now I'm a
really?
profitable. No, I'm just kidding. Well, anyways,
Just
folks,
tell us what we want to hear.
that is roughly the hour. We started late, so we're ending late, but a lot of good questions, a lot of good conversation here. And so thank you guys for being here. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we will be here tomorrow, 8:45 Eastern. And I'll be there. Huddie will be...
Yeah, you better be here.
Yeah, Huddie will probably still be red-eye jet lag, so me and Dom will be holding the fort down. And yeah, have a great, lovely Wednesday night, and we will see you guys next time.